fried chicken and make anti fried chicken. Women cannot make some good creams and become body shop. We all can, but we are become a consumer-oriented society. We are forgotten that we can be also the producer. Because the producers make money, the consumers spend. But you are really smart when you make money by production and then buy it, you justify. But if you make money by oil and buy Coca-Cola and Pepsi and for P&G and Nestle, but the main thing is you have to be the producer of Nestle and P&G. I'm not saying the best brand, and I've not taken any money for sponsorship from them. But I'm trying to say that in next 10, 20, 30 years, we have to see that why Islamic world cannot create brands. Why we don't have pizza? Why don't we have Louis Vuitton? All ladies buy Louis Vuitton $4,000 purse. We have leather. Why can't we create those brands in our output? Why there is no vision? Why there is no branding? These are the questions. Because as Socrates said, half the knowledge is in answering the right question. If you are not answering the right question, it is difficult to answer the given answer. So the real knowledge starts when you question yourself. When you trigger yourself to come out of the status quo. Because the Islamic world is living in a status quo. But they don't know what will happen to them after 100 years. But I don't want to go in political debate. But what happened in North Africa right now is just starting. We all have to say, if you are strong, no one can touch you. If you are weak, everyone can destroy you. So, developing strong network between businessmen and pan-Islamic world, developing state-of-the-art education and health facilities, developing clusters of industrial parks in key Islamic economies based on strategic location, and we have to create cluster of industrial parks. It is very crucial to export to certain regions. Like Malaysia is near to China, Morocco is near to Europe, Turkey is near to Europe. So we need to develop some cluster of industrial parks in strategic Muslim countries that can export to other economies. Developing good governance that is close to the hearts and minds of the people. A 360-degree solution. Dr. Umar Chhabra is one of the leaders economists in Islamic Development Bank. He gave this 360-degree solution, which is developing society by focusing on moral upbringing. Another big problem in Islamic world is moral deterioration. Our akhlaq is going down and down and down. We need to create education, training and skill for young generation. Because if you have education, that is the most powerful tool you can give to your children in the next generation. Now, you will not even give your sons and daughters of properties, land and gold. That is not important. If you give your children good quality education, that is the biggest gift you can give to your children in your lifetime. Secondly, we as a nation, we have to ensure justice, law and order, security of life, property and honor for every individual. Honor for every individual means only someone is superior on the basis of taqwa. All human beings are equal. Whether you have any title, but all human beings are equal. This is Hazrat Muhammad one time, one of the slaves came to his room and he gave his personal cloth to come and sit. Now we have to see how that society, and that Hazrat Muhammad was the Rahmatul Alameen. He was above all the kings and all the rulers and all the billionaires. But if he can show that humbleness, modesty, why in our generation we cannot show the same type of humbleness and modesty? Creating employment and self-employment opportunities for people to fully utilize their potential for collective well-being. Because the biggest problem of Arab world, I just tell you, 50 million Arabs will be unemployed by 2020 because the businessmen are not creating projects. The money is going in Geneva and Zurich, but it is not invested in our own country in good projects. But if good project is created, thousands of people get good jobs. They have good food, their children can get good education, they can build a family. So that is what, as an entrepreneur, business leader, we have to create good projects that can give jobs to people, that can have some sustainability to people. Because the purpose of wealth is revolution. Because money in the bank does not create wealth. it creates only interest, which is harm. In order to move the economy and flourish, you have to revolve the wealth in the society so that opportunities of economy can be developed. Lastly, conducive environment for innovation, creativity and social harmony. If you don't have innovation and creativity, then you are producing robots. You are not creating leaders. The main purpose of creating a human being is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the difference between malaika and insan is, insan has logic. You have the thinking capacity. Malaika cannot think. Malaika cannot question. Only insan, which is bashar, ashraf al-makhluqat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the power to think, to analyze and the logic parameter. So we have to use this. We have to use this logic, analysis, wisdom for the betterment of human beings. If we do not use this logic, then we are simple people, eat, sleep, live their life and die. But then we do not improve ourselves. And the last thing is that we have to make sure there is harmony among people. There is understanding, there is tolerance. This is the ecosystem which I would like to propose. We have 4 different players. If they do their work properly, we can create a welfare society as per Islamic law. Now that is, we need as a government, what is the role of the government? The government has to make the right policies, laws and have an enabling environment for people to flourish. What is the role of knowledge? For me, the knowledge centers are the universities and the R&D, because it is the duty of universities to create knowledge, to flourish knowledge. And then is the private sector. Private sector duty is to come up with a risk capital to flourish the economy, to enhance trade and investment, do mega projects, and assist the small medium enterprise, which is the SME sector, to develop. And there is a society, and I will also say an individual. The role of society is to innovate, because society can take benefit from private sector, government and knowledge for innovation, have good moral values, leadership and harmony. If we have these 4 components and everybody plays its role, we can lead to a successful economy and a welfare state. These are the 4 particular deep reforms which we need in the Islamic world in order to develop. Reform of human being, which is moral reform, which is our internal reform, educational reform, economic and financial reform, and the governance reform. If we implement these 4 reforms in pan-Islamic world, we can develop ourselves to more a self-sustained economy. And this is a small picture that by using books and knowledge we can fly. We can achieve the heights where no other nations have achieved. This is a humble vision of Islamic world by 2020. And I believe if we all unite together as Islamic Ummah, we can achieve this. It's very much possible. The vision is our collective GDP to be $20 trillion. Now we have $7 trillion. Is $20 trillion is not difficult. Only United States have the GDP is $14 trillion. Why not Islamic world? 57 countries in next 2020 can have a GDP of 20 trillion percent. At the moment, there are only 5 or 10 companies from Muslim Ummah which are part of Fortune 500 companies. Why cannot we have 100 companies by 2020 from Islamic world to be part of Fortune 500 companies? Why our per capita income cannot be $50,000? At Bangladesh, per capita income is $1,200. So we have to analyze, and we can do it. Switzerland per capita income is about $75,000 to $80,000. Singapore per capita income is $65,000 to $70,000. So $50,000 is very much possible. At least 80% of the Muslim world will fall in top ranking human development index. If I tell you, at the moment only 4 countries in all Islamic world rank on the higher bracket of human development index than by United Nations. And 80% of the nations are on the lowest tier of human development index. By the way, Human Development Index is measured by access to clean drinking water, infant mortality rate, calories per day, and so forth. So if you just imagine that if we cannot be able, the true parameter of a nation is not by the Rolls Royce and Bentley you have in a country or BMWs and Mercedes. It is determined by how many people have access to good education, how many people have access to clean drinking water, how many women have access to primary health facility within the 5 kilometers of their house. And we should own at least 100,000 patents of cutting-edge technology for the world. 100 Islamic world universities have to be in the top 500 universities. If I just tell you, at the moment there are hardly 10 universities in the world which make it to the top 500 universities. So one of the parameters to judge your knowledge center is how many of your universities are making to the top university. If by 2020 we should target all the governments to develop our like Harvard, Oxford, MIT, Cambridge University. I just want to tell you, in 18th century, when our rulers were making palaces, Cambridge universities were built in Europe. The Harvard budget is more than many countries in Africa. The most important element in my perspective to do all of this is tawakkul to Allah. If you have tawakkul to Allah, you can do whatever you can think, you can achieve if you have tawakkul to Allah, if you have trust in God. Because I was just thinking yesterday when I was preparing this presentation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is running this whole universe. And this whole universe, Earth is a small dot. He brings sun every day and brings it down. If as Ummah, we are the Bashar, can he not help us to achieve this? For him it is nothing. Literally nothing. If we really ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we want to achieve this, for him it is something not to be even considered. So we have to believe that as Allah says in the Quran, and the sun, the moon and the stars, all governed by the laws under his command. Is it not his to create and to govern? He is the governor. He is the creator. If we ask him, we can achieve this. It's very big. If he is helping the Americans, if he is helping the Jews, if he is helping all other civilizations, do you think he will not help his own Muslim people? Other thing is, and when you are resolved, then put your trust in Allah. Allah loves those who put their trust in Him. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, He said, do your best and leave the rest on me. But if you believe all the powers are in Allah, Allah helps you. But you should have this iman. So all what the worldly talk, the GDP and per capita income, railway, road, this and that I have talked. If we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and work hard, this is possible. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, so lose not heart, don't be disheartened, nor for despair, don't be in depression, for you are bound to rise. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to His culture. You are bound to rise, that you have to rise, if you are true in faith. What is the condition? Is faith, is iman. If you are true in faith, you are bound to rise. So as I would say that we have to work together in order to achieve this goal. This is a small, very small Ummah Islamiyya Wahida, Qalb Wahida, Qibla Wahida, Ummah Islamiyya Wahida. I'm thankful to you, Tirama for your time given to me, and I would like to open the house for 5 minutes. If there's some question answers, we can interact to make this more lively for 3 minutes or 4 minutes. Any questions or any comments from any side?